Fellow Falcoholics, I am so sorry. You guys did not deserve what you had to endure today. None of us did. That was an embarrassing game here in week 3 for these Atlanta Falcons. I'm not going to say R today because I'm not claiming whatever that was, all right? I don't want any part of that. But we're here on the Falcoholic Live to bring you Panthers vs. Falcons week 3 post-game show. Is the game still going? Did it end? I stopped paying attention a long time ago, but do you know what the final score? Not necessarily because I was gonna abandon it, but I did actually have to transition to preparing for the show and resetting up all my equipment. What was the final score, Alan? Before we go any further.
30-0.
Okay, okay. Just in case any of you guys didn't know that before tuning in, 30-0. The Falcons lose to the 0-2 Carolina Panthers. 30-0. I think, Alan, this may be the worst game that I can remember. Like, is there
Definitely
what?
in like the 2020s.
Yeah, like of this decade, the
Yeah,
2020s. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Just because they were a pretty significant favorite, huge momentum cut off the Minnesota win. And I was thinking that the last time the Falcons really got blown out by Panthers was actually that 2015 year where I think they lost 31-0. But let's clarify that. Cam Newton was the MVP that season. The Panthers won 15-1. They made the Super Bowl. I don't think that. Well, this Panthers team is not capable of going 15-1 this year already. Don't think they're going to the Super Bowl. So the circumstances are quite different here.
yeah.
This is
No,
as bleak as it gets. Like there is not a single positive. Like okay, the running game got going a little bit. Kate Ellis played angry. Kel London made a few plays, but there is just nothing to like take away here that screams any sort of optimism. And look, I know people are gonna. I really don't want to get this curse. Look, we're always gonna answer fan questions. We're always gonna listen to listeners. We're here because of you.
yep.
But if we could not talk about Kirk Cousins starting,
That's
can we
not
just not?
relevant. Yeah.
Can we just not do this? Like young quarterbacks allowed to have bad games. I know this is very alarming because this is one of the worst defenses in the league. And Michael Penix looked very jittery, looked very panicked. He was just pressing the whole game. But look, it was his sixth start. I'm not going to defend it. He was appallingly bad. But I did think he was let down by his players. I thought this was Darnell Mooney's worst game I've ever seen.
He looked awful.
Yeah.
Um,
So I thought he was let down by him. And then we could talk about the play calling as well, which wasn't great. So,
yeah.
but yeah, if we could not talk about Kirk Cousins, but we're
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
listen to if you want to get your jokes and get your jokes in, but like Raheem Morris, like we just joked about Kevin, like Raheem Morris said Kirk Cousins will not compete for a starting job going forward. No, we shouldn't.
Yeah, that's not like the biggest takeaway from this game either. But yeah, no. Thank you guys though, seriously, for tuning in with us. We're all here to suffer together. I was hoping we wouldn't have to do this, but thank you for tuning into the Falcon Live, presented by FanDuel today. We did have some questions coming before we went live, so real quick, we got Love Dogs Avery with the $5. Thank you, Avery. Says Penix was bound to have one of these games. This was a terrible game. I'm going to stay positive. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Thank you, Avery. Appreciate the positivity. Yeah, I mean, guys, don't like let this ruin your week or anything. Like, don't like my advice to you now is to we're gonna talk about it, but this is now like put up or shut up time. Like I have no confidence. I have no faith. Raheem Morris, get to the playoffs or get the F out, okay? Like everybody here, get to the playoffs right now or we're done. I'm done with this shit, okay? No more of this. We've been dealing with this since 2017, right? I'm done. I'm done with it. You guys don't get the benefit of the doubt. You don't get any funsies. You don't get any confidence. You win a game and you take the week off. I mean, what I don't have any words for what we saw today, Alan. So, uh, yeah, any goodwill. They just lit it on fire.
And it's just even just starting out like Carolina, right? They had the botch with the pump, but even like that first drive, it just Bryce Young was getting on the move, and you just saw like both teams in terms of how they were operating offensively. Like uh, Dave Canales did a great job calling play action. The offense, the trenches. I was shocked that Carolina had their way in the trenches. I know the Falcons pass rush got a little bit going in the second half, but at that point, the game was pretty much over. It's just the fact that this team kind of looked spineless when it came to just like stopping the run and then just getting any sort of pressure. It's just this is a Carolina team that's ripe for the picking. This was a pretty broken team, missing 2 offensive stars. We know their defense is arguably worse than the league, if not bottom 3. Like, they don't have much talent there. So between just how unprepared they looked and then just the individual errors, like we mentioned Darnell Mooney, and even that, can we talk about that late first half, the drive to try to get 3 points, just no situational awareness whatsoever. Kyle Pitts, get the first down to at least allow. You should know how many timeouts you have or don't have. The team had none. Kyle Pitts at least get the first down, allow Penix to spike it. Darnell Mooney, I don't think he was getting out of bounds, but he literally just went down with like 4 seconds left, knowing he called like a 20-yard pass. Like, it's just, there were so many mental errors. There's a lack of situational awareness, and it's just a team that wants to be a playoff team is going to operate like this. It's just unacceptable on all levels. And oof. Well, we could break down Penix's play, but there was several individual errors offensively, and I think that's what it comes down to. Like, we could talk about the defense looking pretty fragile, but I don't think they really had any glaring moments where it's just like, oof.
They had no chance. The defense had no chance in this game. Right out of the gate, they give up a bad opening drive, after the offense just pisses down their leg. That's fine.
Did you think Zach Harrison got held on a touchdown run? He got away with that.
He did. They did get away with that. Yeah. But again, like, I really don't have a problem with the defense at all. Like, D. Alford, like, tip the cap. Like, he played the best of any corner in the NFL so far, I would say. Like, maybe he's just another Mike Hughes, where it's like, you tried him in the slot, it did not go well at all, and then you move him outside, he's like, oh yeah, he's fine as an outside corner. So, like, that's nice. I think Ulbrich's only thing I would have not done is blitz so hard. Like, I don't think it was necessary. I think they should have played more coverage and just rush 4 and just, lived with it. But yeah, the aggressive blitzing, I think that was the only thing that I think was a little bit off. I mean, I don't think you needed to, and I think Carolina really took advantage of the over-aggressive nature of the defense. But even still, like, I mean, the offense did nothing, and in fact, they did less than nothing. They gave at least 14 points. They gave 7 directly to the Panthers. They gave another 7 almost to the Panthers, and they basically got them down to the 10. Special teams was god awful. I mean, they acted like they didn't know how to return a kick. They seemed shocked about what to do, like, with these kicks. Parker Romo, like, I hope you didn't buy a house, buddy. Like,
well, that's another situation. Like, what are there going to be more trials this week? Like, there's so many unprofessional things happening with this organization right now. Like, we have no idea what the kicking situation would be like. They can't return a kick. We even talk about the pre-snap with on 3rd and short. Like, I don't know why Michael Penix couldn't just hand it off to Tyler Algier. I know you don't like the look, but you're literally coming out of a timeout. This is the second week in a row, and if you live in Charlotte, if you know the Panthers organization, they do not have a home field advantage like the Vikings. So it was just totally inexcusable. And I just think this team needs to get, at least with Michael Penix, get used to playing a little bit more uncomfortable. Like, I don't think you just take a penalty like that when you don't like the look necessarily. Like, it's 3rd and short. Convert, go, just make it happen. So
yeah,
it's just so many inexcusable, unprofessional errors. And this team has a lot of soul searching to do.
Yeah, and Adnan, like, I know you said you were gonna come on. I will officially, like, release you from your obligations if you don't want.
Yeah, I'm obligated to. This is on my contract.
I want to talk about the game.
Okay, Adnan's here, guys. All right, I know you guys were hoping. So
I want to talk about the game.
Okay. I just wanted to say that. But all right, let me get to a couple. We're gonna let Adnan go off here. Let me get to a couple more donations. Thanks, you guys. We appreciate that. We got Thomas Alexander with a 2. Saying Raheem is out of his depth and it's going to cost Fontenot too. Yeah, I have a lot of concerns. There's no doubt about that. All right, now I think we're caught up with the ones that came in before the show. Now we got DY with the $2. I'm the upside down Falcon meme. Already drunk. Yeah, I was drinking all weekend, so I was not drinking during this game, which maybe I front loaded the weekend too hard because I needed it today. But D, do whatever you need to do. Just be safe. We got Solaire with the $5 saying draft takes. I know, Solaire, you sicko. You were just waiting. Unfortunately, we don't have any good draft takes either because we don't have a first-round pick next year. We won't win anything with this staff. They are awful. Had a feeling this would happen, though, after Wednesday's show. Jinx, look, I just tried to believe in the Falcons one time, and we see what that did for us. We got Kyle. Don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry. With the $2. Canadian $2. Shout out to Canada. Says was told that Morris was never a great hire. Well, I think that's very fair. All right. So, Adnan, you coming in hot. So you ready?
But
Yeah.
I would love to speak about the atrocity that we just watched over the last 3 hours. We were sitting here on the show on Wednesday, and I guess we vastly overestimated the Atlanta Falcons. And I guess, you and I, Kevin, should know better. We have been fans of this team for, our entire lives, for as long as we can probably both remember. And it's always sort of been the same old Falcons over and over. And we thought, maybe this time it won't be. Maybe after that win against Minnesota last Sunday, the defense looked really good. The offense didn't look great, but Bijan is there, and he's going to carry us. And the offense is going to figure it out. They're going to get out of their own way. And we sat here talking, first of all, disrespecting the Panthers. As I'll admit, we disrespected the hell out of the Panthers on Wednesday. And we talked about, the Falcons need to go out there and send a message. Not just win this game. The Falcons need to go out there and win this game by double digits, maybe a couple touchdowns, really showcase to the NFL that we're here. Oh, by the way, it looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think they just won their game too. So, yeah, Tampa Bay with you and me and Allen out there blocking for Baker Mayfield just figured it out, which is, what good teams do. But yeah, so we were talking about how we need to, send a message, trounce the Panthers. And this team came out there today looking more unprepared than I've ever seen an Atlanta Falcons team look. And that's a very, very high bar. Like, this franchise has looked unprepared for its entire 60 years of existence, damn near. And I just don't know what the hell they were doing in practice this week. Like, every single facet of the game was terrible. In fair, the defense was solid. The defense was okay. Like, I'll give it to they weren't completely disgustingly terrible.
They did what they could. I mean,
you wish they defend the run better, but
yeah.
I don't feel like Bryce Young did anything overly impressive. If anything, McMillan had that one insane moment where he just rose up in the air and caught a pass 10 feet.
I'll give the defense a bit of a reprieve. You see the scoreline. The team gave up 36 of those were to a pick six, and then the Panthers had some short fields. It's mostly the offense that I'm really, really sort of disgusted with. And I mean, Zach Robinson, Raheem Morris, this was. I mean, I'm not giving any excuses to Michael Penix either. He looked terrible in this game.
Yeah.
That's the worst Michael Penix look. I mean, and I want to clarify my tweet. I said that they should move pull Penix out of the game earlier. I wasn't saying make a permanent quarterback change. I was mostly saying that to preserve his confidence, because he looked completely lost out there. And then, 2 drives later, I think he throws an interception. They ended up yanking him either way. But it just goes back to the coaching staff, man. Like, this coaching staff last year, I think Raheem Morris is honestly a bottom 3 coach in the NFL. I mean, he's been a career loser for his entire head coaching tenure. I think his head coaching record now is 30-50 in his career. I don't know what they were doing giving him a 5-year. And I mean, I've spoken about this many times on past shows and last year and into the offseason. And I said, just sort of rip the Band-Aid off, recognize your sunk costs, do what the Patriots did with Gerard Mayo. Sure, you gave him a contract 1 year in, yank him and go somewhere else. But Arthur Blank is so bad about recognizing sunk costs, which is so insane to me because he's such a great businessman. And one of the key foundations of business is recognizing your sunk costs. He doesn't know how to do that with the Falcons for some reason. He kept Dan Quinn a year and a half, in my opinion, a year and a half too long, and it ended up costing the team. Now I think he's kept Fontenot and Morris for another year, and I have no faith in this team as long as this leadership is what it is. And I mean, Blank doubled down in training camp saying this is the best leadership they've had in years, which I mean, maybe. Like the bar is really, really low when it comes to that. But I don't think that this team is going anywhere as long as Raheem Morris is there. I don't think it's going anywhere as long as Fontenot's there. You're talking about two, at this point, career losers who have just done nothing but lose. And I mean, I don't know how you expect those guys to instill a winning culture. And I feel like this game is sort of rock bottom. Like this is rock bottom of the Terry Fontenot regime of these 5 years. I mean, I damn sure hope that it can't get lower than this when it comes to the Raheem Morris regime as well. But honestly, like, it's just like I don't know. Like it looked like they were just so unprepared. It looked like they didn't know what the hell they were doing. Like, were they genuinely just celebrating all week? Like, did they think, oh, like, you know, we beat the Vikings and we're just gonna trounce the Panthers because the Panthers aren't very good and they look very bad the first 2 weeks, and last year, you know, they haven't had any success the past few years. This reminded me of that game, I think, in 2018, and I don't mean to go on like too long of a rant here, but do you remember when the team had won 3 games in a row, and they were going into Cleveland? And this is back when Cleveland sucked. I mean, Cleveland still sucks, but this is back like before Cleveland had any success.
Early Baker days. Freddie Kitchens was the interim coach.
Yes,
that's right, Freddie Kitchens. Oh,
Freddie Kitchens, like Cleveland Browns, and they went up to Cleveland. I think they had just come off a big win against Washington, and they were back at 500, and it seemed like they completely took the Browns for granted, and they got their asses kicked in that game. And from there, the season went like this. I feel like that's this, but like somehow even worse, because one, this is a divisional rival, and you know that the Panthers have given you fits. It's been 5 straight years where the Panthers have beaten you at least once. You haven't swept this team in 6 years, no matter how bad they've been in the past half decade. Like, you know not to take this for granted. And I mean, look, man, I know sportsmanship is like a thing, but it really sort of pissed me off seeing Raheem Morris just so like happy and giddy on the sideline, like, you know, after the game, like congratulating the players. I'm not saying don't congratulate, but it's like, he looked like it's so completely unbothered, and it's like, why am I so bothered then? Like, why is the fan base so bothered if the coach and, you know, and the players, like, just like, I don't know. I haven't felt this bad as a Falcons fan. Well, probably since last year. I haven't felt very good as a Falcons fan, honestly, in the past like half decade. But it's like this feels like rock bottom. Like, this feels like genuinely like it has to be nowhere to go but up from here, because I didn't see this happening in the realm of my mind, like not even a little bit. I was like, all right, like I was ready to like be worried if they won this game by a field goal or if they won this game by a touchdown. But it would have been like, okay, road division game. But to get blown out, and not just to get blown out, but to look completely like you just weren't ready to play football this week. It's disgusting, man. Like, it's completely disgusting. I don't have another word for it.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't deserve this. Like, I look, I mean, what you said is exactly what I'm thinking. Like, there had to be a lapse in focus in practice. Like, I can't think of any other clear explanation. There's other problems, but like, how the hell are you, like, you're 1-1. Like, how does this happen? Like, who's like allowing this to happen? Because this does happen regularly to this team, where they get a nice big win and then they show up and look completely unprepared the next week. It's like, like, how can you keep doing this? Like, you still haven't learned your lesson. Like, you still haven't learned that you can't do this in the NFL. You can't take the Panthers like lightly. And look, I mean, there's a lot of issues, and we're going to get to all of them, and we're going to get to your guys' questions too. I know we have a lot, but to me, like, the first things first, right? Like Michael Penix was horrible, just awful. But I think I still have the biggest issue with Zach Robinson, because I think this is the least creative offense that I've seen in a long time, and like I kind of can't believe that this offense feels more like an Arthur Smith offense than a Sean McVay offense. Like, I don't understand how you come from that tree and you just have zero creativity. I mean, we saw it's like the only outlet in the entire playbook. The only short yardage, like, hot read is like a swing pass. We saw that they threw that same swing pass like 9 times in this game, 10 times. That's all they had. And then last week, you know, we saw that they ran the same, you know, like third and short play like 4 times in a row. Like, how do you have so little in your offense? How are you that weak? Like, how are you, like, you had all offseason to come up with a playbook, and it feels like there's like 4 plays that they have. Like, I get that the receivers are not playing well. Like, Drake London has not been playing well. Darnell Mooney looks completely not ready. And I mean, I get it. He missed all of training camp, but like we're targeting David Sills in this game. Like, what the hell is going on, Alan? What is happening?
I think Dan Quinn's last game was actually against the Panthers in 2020. That's when the Quinn Dimitrov era ended, and people basically eliminated out their mind because that game was so forgettable. To be fair, that whole season was forgettable. Like, this feels 50 times worse. But in terms of just how the offense was operating, like, if there's one positive, the offensive line was fine. Like, other than Elijah Wilkinson maybe got beat once, I don't really remember the offensive line really struggling. So the fact that they were so reliant on short passes, and we mentioned the swing pass to Bijan that seemed like 3-4 times, and I felt like Panix was checking that a bunch. Like, he had time to go through his progressions and make the right read. Like, I think the first interception, I think he had McLeod on like an in-breaking route that he could have hit against a cover 2 shell, and he just checks it down. And he was just pressing, and it was just so frustrating. And then even that 4th down, when he does something really brilliant, like he uses a pump fake to get, I think, Trevor Morrig out of position, and he has McLeod right there. But then he just throws like this fastball so low to make it pretty much impossible for McLeod to probably catch it, and he could be more wide open. I do think a lot of this game falls on Michael Penix, along with the coaching staff. Like, to me, Penix really put this offense in danger several times. And look, Mooney definitely had his blunders. I think there were like 2 or 3 plays where Mooney should have made, but he had the pass protection. I don't know, and he was just so stiff. He was so static. Like, there got to a point in like the 3rd quarter, like he was not moving from his spot. Like, he would drop back, whether it be 5-7 step drop back, and he would just stand there like a statue. Like, we make jokes about last year, it was kind of Kirk Cousins-esque. And it was just like, you could move around a little bit, reset your feet, throw it better. It just seemed like he was so jittery, and like he was just pressing to push the ball either downfield or just check the Bijan Robinson. And at some point, whether it's they're going to have to run, operate under center and then get a couple of bootlegs. Like, I think Zach Robinson, one thing he needs to do, he needs to get Michael Penix more loose. He needs to at least get him on the move, because right now he just looks so stacked in the pocket against a team that had no pass rush. But still, that pocket's going to collapse at some point, and you want to make more accurate throws. And there are about like 6 throws outside interceptions that just went so wayward. So I think he just needs to get more loose, maybe obviously get his confidence back. But I do think, look, Zach Robinson's going to take a lot of the blame. We got to put a lot of this on Michael Penix, so he's got to be held accountable.
Yeah.
There was nothing really positives.
And that's real. Look, man, it's important. Like, nobody is saying that Michael Penix isn't possibly like the quarterback, of the future of this team. Nobody's saying, all right, like, pull him, yank him permanently for Cousins. It's over. Like, he's a bust. But it's like, it is important to hold him accountable. Like, he's not someone that, can do no wrong. He's not 2009 Patriots Tom Brady. Like, when he has a bad game, we'll call him out for having a bad game, and he looked really bad. Like, and yes, Zach Robinson had stuff to do with that as well. But there are some throws that Penix that were just misses. So bad. Misses. That pick 6 was egregious. Like, it was, he stared down the running back, and he just lofted it. It was such an easy read for the defender to make. And it's like, I don't know, like, he looked, that was the worst. I'm sure any of us have seen Michael Penix look probably ever. Like, I don't think he's ever looked that bad in college either. And it's just like, hopefully they figure something out. Hopefully his confidence isn't completely shot. But I mean, I damn sure hope that it can't get any worse than this.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it's like, this is 2 things are true. Michael Penix had a terrible game, the worst game of his career. But there were a couple things, and I know, shout out to Joe Patrick for really drilling down on this. Like, through the entire first half, the play call was coming in so late. Like, they were getting the call in with 10 seconds on the clock, then trying to hit motion. I mean, we saw them waste 2 timeouts on this. They were still doing it. They've been doing it all game. It's year 2 for Zach Robinson, and the man still can't get a fucking play call in time. Like,
They said there were headset issues, but I don't know how
I
long
get
it
it, but
lasted
like,
for. But
Penix
yeah.
looks really like Penix looked really frustrated with some of
Hmm.
these like situations, and that was happening last week too. And last week it was loud, and I get it, but it's like this has also been a consistent theme where it's like you gotta help your young quarterback out. You can't on the road be getting the call in late and then expecting to run like two motions, like with 10 seconds on the clock. It's just leading because he needs more time than an experienced veteran. This if it's Matt Ryan, it's like Matt Ryan can go to the line, look for 1 second and be like, okay, I know where to go with this. Penix might need a minute. Like you might need to give him 10 seconds just to find his keys. Like I feel like they just launched into this season with like it feels so disjointed and like unprepared. Like it's just weird to me.
What makes it even more perplexing is that Zach Robinson comes from the Sean McVay school, and Sean McVay, especially in the early days with Jared Goff, he would make it a point of emphasis to make sure Jared Goff was ready with 15 seconds left in the play clock, just so he could check at the line of scrimmage, make any sort of audibles, see what pressures are coming, check the mic and all that. And now we have Zach Robinson here struggling to get with 10 seconds to go, like just the teams get set. So it's like you would think learning from Sean McVay, especially a young quarterback, like Sean McVay pretty much did everything imaginable to make sure Jared Goff was comfortable. And you definitely cannot say that right now about how he's handling Michael Penix.
Yeah, yeah. The whole coaching staff, like except for Jeff Ulbrich, I accept Jeff Ulbrich from this. The defensive coaching staff, you guys are doing a bang up job. Like no one thought the defense was going to be competent, and I don't have anything bad to say about the defense. Like I mean, yep, could it have been cleaner today? Sure. I don't really give a shit about that. Like they did more than enough. Like the offensive coaching staff, you guys got to get your shit together. Like this is the NFL. Like I don't understand. Like we saw what this offense could be the final 3 games of last year. This offense looks nothing like that. Like they're not taking chances downfield. It's so conservative. It's the same play calls over and over again. And like, yeah, I get like Drake and Mooney aren't healthy and they're not playing up to their ability, but like it feels so hard out there. Like it's so difficult to get anything consistent with this team, and it's not just Michael Penix. Like it's everybody. And it's funny because the most concerning thing going into the season was the offensive line. And I honestly think they're probably the least of our concerns. It's like the receivers are underperforming. Penix is not being what he's supposed to be, and the scheme and the coaching is god awful. So it's just there's just no way. Like you can't win like this. Like if not for that touchdown that the Vikings gave up at the end of that game, I mean we'd have 1 touchdown at this point, 2 touchdowns on the season. The offense is awful. I mean they might be the worst offense in the NFL.
There's some bad offenses out there.
Who's better? Like who are they better than? Like legitimately.
Cleveland,
Yeah.
the
Fair.
Jets. Oh, the Jets actually probably show week 1.
Yeah.
I'll apologize.
And this week they scored like 27 on the Bucks.
Yeah,
Cleveland also just won too.
Yeah.
I know. Salute to them. Yeah. I don't know.
Bottom 5 offense.
Yeah, bottom 5. Yeah,
There's
some bad.
You say bottom 3 or like something like that.
There's absolutely no excuse for this to be a bottom 5 offense. Like it has to be coaching to me. I'm sorry.
They
like
all top 10 picks of the last
yes.
6 years.
Yes.
Do you think it's a little concerning that other than Ryan Newsel, there's basically no new players in this offense? Do you think they could have maybe made one move in all season? But then again, just like they were so confident. I think this is kind of embodies the Falcons. Just whenever something is like steadily okay, they're going to be fully firm and just we're sticking with it and that's it. And now you're wondering, could they have maybe used one more playmaker, maybe add someone here? But who knows? They had so much to do defensively. I don't want to hold it against them. I do think you just wish Zach Robinson would have evolved. And right now, there's just nothing there. And just the lack of play action is infuriating. And it's just the same motion. I just feel like these teams are now telegraphing how this team is motioning their receivers, their tight ends. They know the route concepts. And it's just like there's nothing open now. Like everything has to be a tight window throw. And for a quarterback that can be erratic at times, that is a lot of pressure on.
Yeah. It's brutal. It looks bad. Like again, like the scheme, it feels like the Arthur Smith offense. Like the scheme is doing nothing to help anyone. Like it's like they're just running vanilla concepts. Like even that nice the big Bijan touchdown was just like, yeah, we just hit some blocks on a wheel route and like Bijan made magic happen. Like there's nothing special.
Yeah,
there's no juice. There's no creativity.
Flat, like, and Bijan just like
yeah, he just like hit the flat. Yeah, and then
he's like, okay, like I'm just gonna take this all the way.
Because he's Bijan. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, the Falcons, I think Mark Ramondi just tweeted this out. No tight end or wide receivers caught a touchdown yet for the Falcons. It's been 3 games. It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, they can't. Like this offensive scheme is an abomination. Like they need to get their shit together quick. Because this is the side of the ball with no excuse. Like Jeff Ulbrich is taking a bunch of guys that people basically let go or just left out there, and like a couple of star players and some draft picks, and putting together like I mean, what I think even after this game is going to be close to a top 10 defense in most stats. I mean, scoring they won't be anymore because they dropped a 30 burger, but again, not the defense's fault. And like this offense has all the talent in the world, all the investment, like, and they suck ass, man. It's so sad.
What's one thing, I'm curious, what's one thing you think Penix could really work on? Like, I like to focus on him a little bit more just because it's such, this game is such a debacle. And, we can harp on the coaching staff, but what's one thing you'd like to see from Penix going forward?
Short throw accuracy, short to mid throw. That's the stuff that we like sort of talked about all training camp of, hey, like, we know Michael Penix can dial up the deep shots. And obviously other teams are taking that away now. Like, you see the 2 high safety looks. They're making them progress through his read, as they should. That's exactly what you should be doing as an opposing defense against some of these young players. He's not the only player. I feel like there has been this sort of there's been this sort of step back made in the entire NFL overall as a whole when it comes to some of these quarterbacks. I feel like we've really been spoiled in the past, like, 15, 20 years of, I think we had the greatest age of quarterbacks, under center. Like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, you had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, like, Drew Brees, collectively.
I was sorry. Are you going to mention Drew Brees?
Yeah. Like, sure, we hate the Saints, but Brees was a dog. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
And it's like, even some of the secondary guys like a Tony Romo, like, these were all like shot call. These were all like signal callers. Like
Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger. Like, even if you want to go to Eli Manning, who had those, like, a couple great, like, Super Bowl runs. But these guys, like, they could progress through the reason they will dice you up. Today's quarterbacks, and I know this is a Michael Penix conversation, but just in general, it feels like the young quarterbacks now, they can't really progress through the reads like that. Like, sure, it's a high bar, like, putting them, like, on the same pedestal as some of these other guys. But the young quarterbacks that are just now entering the league over the past few years, I'm not talking about Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, like, those guys that have been doing this for a while. But it's like, in general, it feels like that Vic Fangio strategy of 2 high safety has really sort of even the playing field for the defense a little bit, whereas the offense was just like gunning ahead of them. And it's nothing like too complicated that they're doing. They're just forcing these young quarterbacks to sort of, take the little check down, like go through the first, second, third read, and maybe take that short pass and take those few yards. And that's something that Tom Brady was the greatest of all time at. And that's, what really contributed to, like, him being, and Peyton Manning and all of these guys, where it's like they knew that they can take what the defense can give them. And I don't feel like Michael Penix is doing a great job of just, like, taking what the defense can give him, of progressing through those reads. I know you want to, like, take these deep shots, that would be great. But it's like, it's not there for you. You have to hit on some of these intermediate routes. And this was, like, the big question we were asking during training camp. It was the big question of Michael Penix coming into the league as well of, is he going to have that touch? Is he going to be, like, we know that cannon is there, but can he do it late on that short to intermediate route, that short to intermediate, like, part of the field? And I just, we haven't really seen much of it these first 3 games. The first game, outside of the fourth quarter, the fourth quarter of the first game was great. Outside of that, it's, it's been very, very shaky.
Yeah.
And you want to give him the benefit of the doubt just because it's going against
Sure.
Todd Bowles and Brian
For sure.
Flores.
Yeah, he's 6 games in. Like, I'm not calling him a bust or anything, but that's the question was, what can he work on? That's something I'd love to see him work on and improve on as the weeks go on.
Yeah. How about you, Kev?
Yeah, I mean, I think the decisiveness, and that's always something that's tough for young quarterbacks, right? Is being able to make those quick decisions. And like, I think that pick six, if he's just a half second faster, that's probably still a tackle for loss, but it's not a pick. And that was also a great defensive play, too, which I think we got to give the defender props for turning a tackle for loss to a pick six. But like, you just got to be faster. Like, I feel like, as a young quarterback, just the clock isn't quite there. But I also feel like that they're not giving him easy decisions either. Like, these guys aren't creating separation. They're getting the calls in late. Penix doesn't have a lot of time to look at the play pre-snap. He doesn't have the opportunity to can the play or do anything because, again, there's no time. And like, I think you can see the frustration on Penix's face, and I don't think it's obviously, some of it is with his play because Penix is a smart guy. I'm sure he knows he's not playing well enough, but it's also like, he shouldn't be having to deal with this. Like, this is the NFL. You should be expecting more from a second-year play caller. But again, Penix has a long way to go. We're not even like, it's a second season in the NFL, but he's played what? This is his 6th game.
Yes.
We're a long way from knowing. Like, we saw Caleb Williams look as bad as this on a weekly basis for like half a season last year, and you're not going to move on from that. These guys have to get their reps and all this. And look, Penix did a really good job protecting the football through the first 2 weeks. I'm not really concerned about him just becoming a turnover machine or something, but he got shook in this game due to the offense's inability to be on time, to be on schedule. There's just mistakes everywhere. I don't know. It feels like the defense last year, where it's like the talent was basically the same, and it got so much worse. Like, and I think it comes back to coaching, and it's I'm not sure that it's just Zach Robinson either. I mean, like, there's more people that contribute, but I feel so down on Raheem as the head coach. Like, because this to me, that's the biggest thing, is like, coming off a big win, you have to keep your team focused. You can't get too high on yourself. This is the NFL, and this is why a lot of the guys are like, we preach 1-0 every week, because we're not looking ahead, we're not looking past, we're not looking deeply at like, oh, our opponent sucks, we're gonna roll them this week. Like, you have to keep your team focused and engaged, and keep them from getting too confident. And I think that's exactly what happened. This team is out here celebrating all week, thinking they're great, for beating up on the Minnesota Vikings, which like was a good game. And then they show up looking like this. Like, I think that's a head coach thing. Like, this team is not focused. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the locker room, and it translates to the field. Like, the head coach can't keep that focus. They can't be an NFL head coach, and that I think maybe is the most concerning thing of all.
Right. Obviously, total differentiated spectrum, but let's not forget that Denver game last year. Remember, they just looked totally incapable in that game. I know Denver's a pretty damn good team, but you want to talk about just looking utterly hopeless on both sides of the ball. I know defense didn't look hopeless, but it's not the first time this team has gone soundly outplayed on the road, and people are questioning what was the preparation going into the game.
Look, and even something as small in that Denver game, and I mean, we talked about it a little bit. I definitely remember bringing it up, but even doing something like, all right, we're not flying out to Denver until the night before the game, until the day before the game. Like, do you know, anyone that's been out to that Denver altitude, like, knows it takes you at least like 2 or 3 days to like get used to that. Like, the Mile High stuff isn't like, it's not fake. Like, it's a real thing. Like, just like doing something as small, like within the margins, something such as, let's go out to Denver earlier in the week and let's get prepared. Let's get our bodies acclimated to it. Versus, all right, we're not going to adapt. We're not going to do anything new. We're just going to like do this the same way as we do all the time. I remember in 2016 when the Atlanta Falcons, last time they played in Denver, they spent the entire week out there. And I mean, part of that was because they did go to Seattle, or they had gone to Denver first, and then Seattle.
Right. Yeah, they played Seattle afterwards.
But yeah, like they went out and they were out on that West Coast trip for weeks. That's what I'm talking about. It's that small stuff within the margin. You do everything possible as a head coach within the margins to give yourself just that little ounce of advantage over the opposing team, over the opposing coaches. I feel like Morris is one of the worst coaches within the margins when it comes to that small stuff. And I mean, you can see how much coaching matters. We talked about the Bucs a little bit. Their coaching is great. Like they're out. It seems to not matter who the hell gets injured for the Bucs. Mike Evans also left earlier in the game. They're down, 3 or 4 starting offensive linemen? Did Wirfs play in this game?
I don't believe so.
Wirfs is down. Gadecki is down.
Cody
Mock is down, and I think they have one more offensive. They're down 4 starting offensive linemen, and they figured it out.
And they get a new offensive coordinator every year.
Yeah, and they're on their 3rd offensive coordinator in 3 years. And meanwhile, the Falcons, with the continuity and with, we're bringing in Raheem Morris. He's not a rookie head coach. We're bringing him in to win now, win right away, because he has experience, and we don't want to go through that, lull period of a new head coach. You went through that lull period either way, and the Falcons look as woefully unprepared as any team I've seen in the NFL coming into this game.
Yeah, it's just rough. You hate to see it because they clearly do have a guy in Bijan Robinson that is special, and you're squandering his best years here. I do think Michael Penix is good. Like I'm not overly concerned about Michael Penix. These games are gonna happen. Like it's nice that it hadn't happened. I thought this would happen last week because the Vikings are one of those defenses. It's really concerning it happened this week, but again, this whole team just felt unprepared. I mean, even the defense came out and had one of their worst drives of the season on the Panthers' opening drive. So I feel like this whole team just wasn't focused. So maybe, you can be like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's just a one-off or something like that. And maybe it is, and that would be great. But, you can't have these one-offs either. Like you can lose, and you can lose badly, but this is something else entirely. And I think that's where my biggest concerns come in is, you can't have games like this. It's just not acceptable on any level.
So let's not forget how the last time these teams played. I'll never forget this quote from Raheem Morris, is the post-game press conference. They asked him, "What do you like about the defense?" Raheem, he goes, "Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell stars. Kane Ellis is a weapon," and he left it at that. And I think Jesse Bates was talking about how embarrassing that Week 18 loss was to Carolina. So you could talk about overconfidence, but there had to be some memory of what happened last year because Carolina, Bryce Young put on a show. I think maybe the Falcons, to an extent, helped save Bryce Young's career in Carolina the way he played against.
Hey, that would be nice. I'm still not a believer in Bryce Young. But yeah, it's like the Will Levis thing. Like the Falcons extended Will Levis's career by a full year because the Falcons extended Marcus Mariota's career in Tennessee for at least a couple of weeks. The Falcons are just like career extenders for some of these bad quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's someone in the comments asked if the team got bussed over to Charlotte this morning. It's like they certainly played like it. They just woke up in Atlanta and took a 4-hour road trip up there.
They were just partying all day yesterday, like me apparently.
But that's the thing, Alan, and you mentioned it, and I mentioned it on the show too. Have some damn pride. Like last season, they stunted on you. Like they've been talking and I know the players have heard all of that trash talk because the fan base sure as hell has. But it's like they stunted on you in your own home building last year. They've been talking nonstop about how they ended your season, and then instead of coming out here this week with a chip on your shoulder, maybe you do a little more in the weight room this week. Maybe you run some more drills, you go over some more concepts. You take that extra step. They just came out here looking like they couldn't give less of a shit, and that's what's really discouraging. That more so than the loss itself.
And I can't believe that stat you mentioned, how the Falcons have not swept the Panthers since
2019.
And just think about how awful the Panthers have been. You look at the stats, I think they're negative 700 before today's game. No, not so much, but they're minus 709 points since David Tepper took over. 0-2 every season, 10 losses pretty much every year. This Panthers team has arguably been the worst franchise in the NFL. Them or the Jets, depending on how you look at it. Falcons aren't too far off. But just the fact that the Falcons haven't even swept them, considering how bad they've been, I think it's just an indictment of just how this franchise is in no man's land.
And say what you want about Dan Quinn and in the lean years of Dan Quinn, one thing he was really good at was beating the shit out of the Panthers. The Falcons never lost to the Panthers when Dan Quinn, like after that first game where Cam and them were dabbing and they won 38-0 like in 2015. Like I think the Falcons won like 7 of the next 8 or something like that. And the only loss was because of an inexplicable Julio Jones drop.
Oh, God, that Julio drop. No.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were the only team to beat the Panthers in 2015, regular season wise. So he definitely got the job done for sure. The 300-yard Julio game also happened against the Panthers. There was a lot of good memories against the Panthers as I'm just trying to like not think about this game anymore. But yeah. And we haven't even talked about the schedule ahead. Like, this brutal. Is a pretty daunting 3-game stretch.
Yes, that's the next thing we need to talk about.
We might as well talk about it now.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, I'm going to get to some questions here, but that'll be the next thing. We'll talk about the schedule a little bit and what we can expect going forward here. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us. This is a brutal game, but it's more fun to hang out with you guys, even if we just have to sit around bitching about how much this team makes us hurt. But you know, it's better to do that with friends. So we got George Costanza. George, I'm sorry you had to watch this one. Says we're going to have the conversation. I think MP9 has done jack shit this season to merit being the starter. He can't throw short. He sails everything that's intermediate. He's Michael Vick without the ability to run. 2 TDs in 3 games. I mean, that's not great. But again, I would have a little bit more patience with Michael Penix. But yeah, I mean, he hasn't been special at all this year. I would say through the 2 games, he did a good job taking care of the football. And the end of that Bucs game, that was some special play. Like, absolutely. He did run. That was Michael Vick right there with the running. I haven't seen quarterback running like that since Michael Vick, but it's just
Daryl Hodge turned his head.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so like I would say like that was special play, but yeah, I mean against the Vikings, I think the game plan called for it to be very conservative, and it felt like they weirdly like this game plan kind of they opened like guns blazing, and I just like I don't know. Penix blew the things that he had to do, but I feel like he was not set up for success. So I'm still reserving total judgment because I just feel like this whole, and maybe like the headset thing is like a bigger deal than like anyone's gonna lead on, because you know what can you do? It happens sometimes. But if that's the case, I mean that sucks, and that's not really. It sucks for the Falcons. It's not really fair, but I mean it'd be like that sometimes. So you just have to find a way to get around it. But Latimer 94 with the 2 says, "Did we just give the Rams a top 5 pick?" I don't think it's going to be a top 5 pick, but yeah, I mean it could be an early pick, which would suck.
If it's anything top 20, like get rid of everyone. Like that. Oh my God.
This is like, where we are. Like I totally agree with you, Adnan. If they don't make the playoffs, they're done. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Make the playoffs or get out. That's where we are. $3 here from Painful Quandary 8181. I like that. I live in Australia. Oh, it does say A. Yeah, Australian.
Salute.
Thank you. Salute. I live in Australia.
Down under. Hell yeah.
Oof. I woke up at 3 a.m. for this. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
I feel your pain. Just before we go, I feel your pain because I did the same thing last year. I was in Kyoto. And I woke up at 2 a.m. local time because it's a 13-hour time difference to watch the Falcons Steelers. And that was the game where like the Falcons, like where we lost to the Steelers and Arthur Smith. So yeah, I was furious the rest of the day. I was tired and furious, and very angry.
That's not the worst combination. The only thing worse is if you're hungry during it.
Yeah, and hungry. That
you can't be
hangry, tired, and that's not a good. That's a dangerous trifecta there.
Watching Kirk Cousins not move.
Oh man, watching us line up out of that pistol over and over again.
Jeez, yeah. We got George Costanza with the $2. Says, "Okay, I figured it out. We lost because Adnan refused to look for the chocolate Twizzlers."
I said I would look if we won.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He didn't. He knew he wouldn't have to. So no, he said, to be fair, Adnan was right. Atlanta did need to come out and send a message, and they sent one loud and clear.
They did send a message.
They absolutely did.
Hey, monkey's paw curl. The Falcons need to send a message. Monkey's paw curls.
Yeah, they can make a statement, all right. Yeah. We got Brandon Hall with the Canadian $2. What's up from Canada?
Right.
says players and our coach smiling on the sidelines after losing 30-0. Yeah, I mean that doesn't sit well with me either. I know Adnan mentioned that too, so it's not great.
Yeah, I remember the last time they got blown out in Carolina. Rashid Hageman was about to fight Brian Cox. You know, sometimes you need that energy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just like it's such bad semantics too. It's such terrible PR. It's like you look like you couldn't give less of a shit, and your team just got like trounced. It's like I would rather my players be pissed off. Like I would rather the coaches be pissed off, and like when even Arthur Smith went down with some fight. Remember when he like went up and like almost fought Dennis Allen in his like last game against the Saints after Jameis Winston called out like fake kneel. It's like I'd rather that than you seeing Raheem Morris looking on all buddy, like giddy, smiling. Like, what the hell are you smiling about? What's so funny?
yeah.
Unless he has some relationship with Dave Canales, look, they're buddies. Maybe you can understand. But besides that, like, it's a humiliating defeat. Your team got trounced. There's nothing good about it.
Yeah, I don't know how like if it was me, I'd probably say like I'd get fined for saying something to somebody.
Yeah.
So
look at the Bears Lions last week. Like Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, they're like brothers. And like Ben Johnson, they're so close. They've created history in that city in a way. And they did like a brief handshake, and you just see how visibly angry Ben Johnson was. And then you look at the press conference that Ben Johnson has talking about how, we're not prepared properly right now. Too many pre-snap penalties. Like Ben Johnson, like the team allowed a 50 burger, and you saw nothing out of him. And then meanwhile, it's there, Raheem Morris is definitely a little too giggly for our liking.
It's like, how are you going to establish a culture when you just look like you don't care if you like lose? It's like, well, what? Come on, man. Because I guarantee you, there's some players that are pissed off.
Well, yeah, I assume it's like he doesn't want to overreact or something. Is probably what he's going for. But yeah,
dude, that Knight and Allen Strk, I've never seen someone more angry like after a sack in a bad way. Like he sacked Bryce Young and just like walked to he put his head down, and just walked to the sidelines.
Yeah,
because
it's wasted. Like, and again, it's like the defense was like the butt of every joke last year, and then like they're out here playing their asses off. It's a 30-0 with the these. Just look at the players. If you want to know what's going on, just watch the players. They'll tell you. Like,
and K-Nels could tell you 2 years ago when he was playing his ass off, and then he had to watch Desmond Ridder run the offense. So like he's been in this situation before. So
yeah,
that's the thing. Like there's I know they have the young playmakers, and look, we talk about the draft picks, but there's some real veterans at defense. Like guys like Jesse Bates, Onyemata, Ellis. Like there's got to be some real soul searching this weekend. These guys, they got to get their point across, because there's also a huge infusion of young defensive linemen and edge rushers. So, and of course the DB room as well.
Hey man, maybe it's time for only meeting.
The Miami Dolphins route. I mean, after a game like this, like dude, like the Panthers are a pretty embarrassing team. Like let's be frank. I know the Panthers had a couple of moments last year, but like this Panthers team, I can't remember the last time since Cam Newton they've beat a team by more than like double figures. And they won by 30 today.
Oh, yeah. This was like their first win like this in like 20 years or something.
It had to be the Cam MVP year. They blew out some teams.
Yeah, but I don't think this was their first like 30-0 win in like
well, they beat the Falcons 38-0 what, 10 years
was that
ago?
2015 or?
Yeah, that was before the Falcons beating them on the Julio catch over
exactly,
Keith.
Yeah.
So, but like this, like that, I think that's what hurts the most. And that's why I think there's going to be more raised eyebrows about Penix performances, because we just have to look at the caliber opponent. That's what you always do after a game like this. Like the reason why I was so positive last week, because I really hold the Vikings in high regard. I think Kevin O'Connell's one of the best coaches. I think Brian Flores would be a head coach if he didn't have the current lawsuit against the league. That Vikings team is as battle testing it gets, and they humiliated the Bengals today. So you got to look at the caliber opponents. We look at the Panthers. It's just, other than a few flashes last year, they've done nothing since Cam Newton's was gone. So since Cam Newton was there. So I think that's why everyone is just like, what on earth happened? And you have to also put into the fact that it's a divisional opponent. Like, and this team's 0-2 in the division now. So don't look at that. That doesn't help matters either.
No, it's ugly. All right, let's get to some more questions. Thank you, guys. And we'll talk about the schedule too. I know we were talking about that a minute ago. So my camera got messed up. Okay, I think I fixed it. Yes. So we got RJC with the 5. Thank you, RJ, saying, is it finally safe to say Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris need to go? This organization is a joke. I mean, I think it's safe to say, like, if they don't make the playoffs, they've done enough concerning things at this point that it shouldn't be a question of if, it's when. I think it's pretty clear that we can't run this back again if they don't make the playoffs. There's just too much talent on offense for this to be happening one way or another. If you can't make this work, like, just look around. Like, there's teams making it work with way less. Just there's no other way to slice it. Like,
they also tapped into their first rounder next year too. Like,
yeah.
This has to be an all-in year. Like, it's you as soon as you spend next year's first, like, you have to do. Look, man, if it was, I've said it a million times, if it was up to me, they would have been gone after last season. Like, I think last year was the year where you, like, had to make the playoffs. But, you know, they're here, they're still here, and I don't know. Like, I don't know what my reaction is going to be if they miss the playoffs and they keep these guys again. Like, I just at that point, I have to stop taking Arthur Blank seriously as an owner.
Yeah, if they don't make the playoffs this year and these guys don't get fired, then he's clearly just not serious. Like, I don't know what else to say. He's not serious about winning. I mean, he's serious about relationships, I guess. But
We have to take into account, there's no denying it. Look, if you want to say the AFC South, fine, but this is the worst division, if not in the NFL, at least in the NFC. You don't have the Eagles. You don't have the Packers, Lions, Vikings trio. You don't deal with Kyle Shanahan, Niners, or the Rams, who continuously always find ways to win. I know they lost today, but the Rams, we know how much of a threat they are. Like, this division is there for a taking. Like, we respect Tampa Bay. I think they've overachieved year after year, but since 2023, this division has been there for a taking. And if you can't win it, or at least even make the playoffs, like, forget winning. Like, if you get even a 7th seed, okay. But like, what GM stays after 5 losing seasons?
none.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, even like this season was a gift for Terry Fontenot. So,
I mean, last year was a gift.
Yeah. So, their time is numbered. Like, it's put up or shut up time. There's no doubt about that in my mind. So yes, I think it's fine, guys, to talk about firing this staff. Like, I think if they don't get it done, then yeah. If at some point they're, you know, like, if we are like 1-5 or 1-6, I think there's a house cleaning coming. So I still don't think that's going to happen. But
remember, Arthur Blank said that 2 years ago this was a 3-year plan when they hired Fontenot and Arthur Smith, and it's like, okay, we're in year 5 of the 3-year plan, and it's as bad as year 1 was. Year 1 they won 7 games. Year 4 they won 8. Year 3 they won 7. It's like, how long is this plan?
Yeah, it's still going.
I got a question for both of you. Say that they lose these next 3 games against Washington, Buffalo, San Francisco, and the offense is stumbling. Could you see them making the move to just get rid of Zach Robinson? Do you think they're going to be at that point where something significant needs to happen? Like, they just have to make a move to make a move. Obviously not going to do anything at trade deadline because they have no assets. But do you think they're just going to do something where we need to change the infrastructure somehow? Could you see Zach Robinson being the fall guy, similar to like Shane Walder in Chicago last year?
Yeah. I think he's the fall guy at this
last
point.
year was Lake. Lake was the fall guy.
Yeah.
This year, I think Robinson is being set up to be the fall guy. But I think as a coach, and then we saw it with Dan Quinn, you only get 1 year of fall guys. You only get 1 year of like making your coordinators scapegoats. Quinn did it after Sarkisian's second year in 2018, or no, 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. I remember he fired both coordinators, Marquand Manuel and Sarkisian, and then it's like after that, it's on you. Like, there's no more scapegoats. It is what it is at that point.
You go hire Dirk Cutter. That's what you go do.
I can't believe that was a real thing that happened still to this day. Like, it was like, oh, we screwed up on Gary Kubiak. I guess we better get Dirk Cutter again.
I really want to know how much input Matt Ryan had, and I wonder if that's Matt Ryan's biggest regret, if Matt Ryan never does like an exclusive interview. Because Matt Ryan's pretty candid.
I don't think Matt Ryan had anything to do with that, in my opinion.
I would hope not.
I really don't think he did.
Yeah.
But I would rather not know. If Matt Ryan did have something to do with that, just never say it. No.
Hey, this offense right now is looking Dirk Cutter-esque, like for sure. Like, it's
they can run the ball. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, they can run the ball because they have a demon in the backfield who's just like a top 3 running back. top two, maybe not the number one running back this year. Like honestly, like he's certainly playing like it. And Bijan again, like did all he could. But yeah, it's I don't know. Like this offense right now, like this looks worse than like anything I remember from the Arthur Smith era. And the Arthur Smith like offense wasn't good either. Like schematically, scheme wise. Like obviously Desmond Ritter
was pretty grim, man. And a lot of that had to do with quarterback play, but I mean, we were frustrated just seeing like no downfield shots and like John Smith, Cordell Patterson were like these spread concepts, and they were running like 5 wide receiver sets, and there was maybe 1 wide receiver on the field. It'd be like Cordell Patterson, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and John Smith. We were like, where are the wide receivers on this roster?
Yeah. I can't believe like they were like, you know what would fix our issues? Let's give David Sills some snaps. Like, it's just like, what?
DC Washington's still out, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The fact that we're even like bringing up Arthur Smith and like that, like that's a big problem. I mean, what happens if they lose Marcus Mariota next week?
Oof.
Again, I do think Zach Robinson is the most in danger, and that could come at any time. Like if they have another game like this.
Okay,
it could come at any time. So
next 3 games, Washington, sure, Jaden Daniels may not play in that game, and given how they look today, like maybe they hold him out as a precaution because a knee sprain is more than a 1-week injury, 1 or 2 week injury. After Washington, and they looked really good today against the Raiders. You get the Bills, who that's probably the toughest test in the NFL right now, except for maybe the Ravens. And then after that, you get the 49ers, who look like they're right back to where they were with Kyle Shanahan a couple years ago. After last year, they had like a million injuries. This team could absolutely be sitting at 1-5.
Yeah.
Like, and then what? I think the season's tanked at that point. Like, I don't think this team is climbing out of a 1-5 record, no matter how light the schedule looks afterwards.
Yeah. No, I'm not going down the 1-5 path yet, but I agree with you. If they're 1-5, we're probably just gonna clean house, and maybe they can hand the keys to Jeff because we know he can handle it. And see if any other coaches are worth keeping, and do a full reset next year. But you're gonna have a hard time attracting a good GM with no first round pick. So that'll be tough.
Yeah,
it's not good. Yeah.
And those matchups look very daunting. 2 of them are on prime time, and the Bills are just a total juggernaut right now. And let's not forget last year, Kyle Shanahan had his way with Jeff Ulbrich in that 49ers Jets opening game, and Kevin didn't play in that game. And I think Purdy will likely be back by then, maybe Kittle. So yeah, it's looking pretty good right now. I know 1 week could change a lot, and I think they'll be competitive in those games because
I think so too.
They'll play any worse. But it's just you're going against some of the top coaching staffs. Like I know we mock him a little bit, but like Cliff Kingsbury, him and Marcus Mariota, they got good rapport. They've actually been productive. Like you look at Mariota last year, he played well against the Cowboys and Panthers. Like as much as we joke about Mariota, I think he's a very serviceable backup and could do some damage. And then you look at the Bills. I mean, to me, I don't know how you stop them at this point. And then the 49ers, just with Shanahan, they're always a threat. And then Robert Saleh's back in his zone as a defensive coordinator. So, yeah, it's a very daunting stretch. And just now coming off this loss, it's hard to be optimistic. And I just think at some point Zach Robinson's got to watch the tape and realize I need to come up with some new ideas because I think the league's found out about him. Because it was all nice last year being 6-3 and getting rhythm, using your condensed formations and getting these openings. But now just like everything seems telegraphed. And you saw on the broadcast, like Matt Millen at least 3 or 4 times talk about, nobody open downfield. I don't know where Penix could throw. There was nobody open downfield.
There's no creativity. Like that's the problem. Like what he like set up last year at times was good, but like it hasn't adapted at all. And like it's so easy to defend this offense. There's nothing interesting going on. They know the motion is 99% of the time it's just a dummy motion. You're not doing anything with it. Or it's like a Y insert play with the tight end. Like, and they're basically just like, we're going to play cover 2, and this offense can't hit anything in that formation. Like they're not going to run anything interesting in short yardage situations. That they have that. I think that's the biggest issue with this offense. Like short yardage, like quick plays, like 5 to 10 yard plays. They have nothing
They
in that
barely go under
range.
center.
Yeah, they just have nothing. Like
Yeah.
it's all deep or dump offs and then running, which like the running is good at times, but you have to be more than that.
And these motions, like when Sean McVay called these motions, they were for a purpose. Robert Woods, I think, may have led the league in like end around like carries. We're not giving anyone an end around carry. Like every single time, Woods is coming up back during the early years and afterwards. And when McVay was real, and I mean, even to this day, it's like the wide receiver is like coming around, and you always have to have that moment hesitation because you don't know if the receiver is going to get the ball or not. And with the Falcons, there's just no threat of that.
Yeah.
You saw a little bit last year with McLeod. I think he had a few, but this year you said there has been one. And there's got to be some misconception. Like, get the defense off balance. Like, that's why I thought Canals did a good job, at least in the first round, because the Falcons defense looked off balance. There's no deception right now. It's like players could could telegraph, they could stay well positioned. There's no panic with these. If you're playing like a safety against the Falcons right now, everything's like in front of you, and you could read things pretty easily. Look at Antoine Winfield.
Yeah, it's just that's the problem. Like the Falcons just haven't like ever since Kyle Shanahan, and like I'll give Sarkisian some props. I thought he had some potential, and they were like, not F that guy. Like, and then ever since then, it's been bust, and somehow the Bucs have hit on 3 in a row. Like, this team can't like find an offensive coordinator to save their life. Like, it's so sad. Like that they have the talent. I mean, and it's like they learned the wrong lesson from Arthur Smith. They were like, well, Arthur Smith didn't work out, so I guess we should go back to a defensive head coach. Like, no, no, because even if the Falcons had found a good offensive coordinator, he'd just get poached. So it's like there's a reason that
the team is so like they like overcompensate. They always overcompensate when it comes to like changing coaches. It always goes from one end of the spectrum to the other. Think about it. Mike Smith, very mellow guy, very like mild-mannered. I think, to be honest, Mike Smith was the best head coach in team history. They go from there to Dan Quinn, who, sure, he's still a defensive guy, just like Smitty was, but Dan Quinn is more of that, upbeat, eccentric, like he'll get it going type person. After Dan Quinn, you go to a full-on offensive person who hates the media in Arthur Smith. And then you go from Arthur Smith to the defense. It's like, like the problem isn't like the fact that this guy's an offensive mind or this guy's a defensive mind. It's like you missed on Arthur Smith. Sure, like yes, absolutely. Admit it, move on from it, move forward. But that doesn't mean that it's just the wrong strategy to go after a first-time head coach, or it's the wrong strategy to go after a young offensive mind. It just didn't work out one time. Like, it is what it is. It happens. It's worked out for other teams. I think over the past like decade, it's more so worked out for teams than it hasn't, that like specific strategy. But no, like for the Falcons, and this is just who Arthur Blank is. It's like you got burned by Bobby Petrino, so he is never in his life going to hire an offensive coach again. Never. It's over. It's finished. It's like, that was 20 years ago. Like, move on. Get over it.
Yeah. And like the Arthur Smith thing, like, and this is like why I was so excited about the hire. It was good process to hire Arthur Smith. Like, it didn't work out, but it was still good process. Like, you look at all the typical markers, multiple years of success, great red zone efficiency, good at the run, where the Falcons like were not running the ball well. He was maybe the best run game coordinator in the NFL over those couple of years in Tennessee. He was doing it without an elite quarterback. Like, these are all indicators that you're looking for. I think hiring Arthur Smith was the right decision. It was the right process and the right decision. It didn't work out. It just didn't work out. And they were like, oh no, we can't do that. It's like it's not always gonna work, but if you do the process right, it's not always gonna win, but you're gonna win more often than not if you have the right process. And I think that's where they got off the rails.
I'm with you, and I'll freely admit I was wrong about Arthur Smith, but I liked the process and I liked the hire. And I know someone said, oh, he had Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry wasn't Derrick Henry before Arthur Smith. Or like, they were splitting carries between him and Dion Lewis, but before Arthur Smith got there and really sort of unlocked Derrick Henry and like really made him the bell cow. So he definitely deserves credit for that. But it's like, yeah, man, like I'm just so sick of the overreaction. I'm so sick of the overcompensation. I think that's just sort of like recognize the process. Just because something didn't go your way doesn't mean that you now have to be scared of it for the rest of your life. It's like Arthur Blank got bit by a dog when he was like 8, and now he never wants to go near another dog again.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah.
What's more scary is that if they didn't hire Raheem Morris, I think they would have won with Bobby Slowick, and oof.
That was another miss for me.
Yeah.
I just want to like go after the offensive coordinators until you find one.
Yeah, we'll see.
You gotta find one.
Because I think the Bears are going to go through it right now, depending on what happens with Ben Johnson. Like, you can't deny the Bears. This is a very good process how they ended up with Ben Johnson. But if it doesn't work out, then it's just like I think they just come to terms with their organization's curse.
Kevin, I'm with you on the offensive lines, and I would like that next, but I'm not gonna. I think my top guy was Mike Vrabel. I really wanted Mike Vrabel during that summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work out. All right, I know we got a ton of questions, so guys, we've there's just not too much more to say about the game itself. You guys all watched it. It was ugly as hell. We're gonna try to move on from that.
You want to end it with a few questions?
Yeah. We'll get to these questions and then we'll wrap it up here because I don't want to keep bringing you guys down on this Sunday night. But we do appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We got Ibrahim with $10. Thank you, man. Says the reason this feels so bleak is there's zero confidence in Raheem and Zach. Just terrible hires. Another lost season. Zach did the impossible. He made me long for Arthur Smith and Jonnu Smith trick plays. Well, those like Arthur Smith and Jonnu Smith, like those two have like a connection, and those were some of Arthur Smith's best play calls. I mean, no doubt. So we got Brian Anthony 614 with the $10. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. Says, why is this team not pissed off?
I'm pissed off.
I'm pissed off.
Atlanta's pissed off.
Yeah. It's like they pull out a world championship belt after the Penix interception, and no one was angry about that. What are they doing? I don't know, man. It's disappointing. We got Brady Fields with the $2, just a $2 donation. Thank you, Brady. Appreciate you. Adrian Russ with the $2 says, "What the f was that?" Now that I got my anger out of the way, I feel like we abandoned the run so early in the drives. Penix was off this game, but I expect to bounce back because his previous games were better. I agree. I think this is the outlier game among all of Penix's performances so far. I also agree, like, if it was me, like, I don't know why this wasn't the, like, pound the rock game. Like, the Panthers were allowing 5.2 yards per carry, and the Falcons came out, like, passing. And, like, at first it looked okay. I was like, all right. But, and then, of course, the score got out of hand, so you can't rely on the run as much. But, honestly, like, if they don't miss those 2 field goals, this thing could have gone differently. Because instead of being down, 13-0 or 10-0 going into the half, like you're down like 6-10 or 6-13. Very different game script. I still can't imagine this team really winning, but you miss those 2 kicks and it's like you're just pissing down your leg immediately.
I think the pick six changed the trajectory of the game.
Yeah,
I think they had that banded in it after the pick six.
Yeah, but also like we haven't even mentioned. I think the real winner of the way they looked was John Parker Romo, because nobody's talking about him right now.
Right. It's going to fly under the radar. Yeah.
Like, that's straight going to fly because 2 big missed kicks. Like, sure, one of them was like a 54-yarder or like whatever it was. But still, you brought him in to make those kicks. But yeah, like that looked, oh my God, that looked like an ugly kick. Like both of them. My first one, it just went like
the first
this.
One, yeah. The first one hooked.
It went to another zip code.
Yeah. That was the 49-yarder. That one wasn't even.
The team posted a video of him warming up, and like he barely made it, and it went like this. And I was like, "Oh, that seems like a bad omen." But yeah, no, like Parker Romo has to do better. Like you just got that new contract. The team moves on from Younghoe Koo early, like yesterday, I think officially. We can't have these kicking woes, man. Like he's fortunate that this game didn't come down to a field goal or 2. And he's fortunate that we're not now tearing into him. But yeah, it's like that can't happen. Like you worked your way to an NFL roster. Great job. You won your audition. You did great against the Vikings, but we can't have those missed kicks. This offense is struggling enough to put up points.
Yep. Yeah. So he's going to get one more week, and then they'll be looking for someone else. So And I think people were like, "Oh, we should have kept Koo." It's come on, guys.
No, here's the thing. I don't think they can go back to Younghoe Koo.
They couldn't go back to Koo. Like Koo had guys. Koo, the Falcons, like if anything, gave Koo too many chances. Like it was obvious that he had lost his confidence entirely. So like that was not an option. That was not an option. Of all the things we can criticize, moving on from Younghoe Koo was not one of them. We got NC Hammer, our diligent moderator here. I think this with the $5 saying, I think this is my last year as a Falcons fan. No, NC, we all know you can't quit this team.
Yeah. If you didn't quit after 28-3, you're not quitting. That's for anyone.
Yeah. We got says first 3 games of the season, not a single wide receiver or tight end touchdown. If something doesn't change, I don't know. With another 5, he says, I'd rather like scrape myself with a sea of Legos than continue to have this coaching staff, except for Ulbrich. It's so sad that this is another repeat season. I certainly hope it's not, but I mean, look, the vibes are catastrophic right now, so I don't blame you. We got Machine Learning Brilliance with the $5 says, why does Raheem still have a job? Oh yes, win be damned. He brings the good old brotherhood in the ATL. No players deserve the blame. It's all on Raheem. Well, players do deserve some blame, but Raheem deserves a large slice.
Watch the quarterback play today.
Yeah, like again, it's like none of these are mutually exclusive. Like, I think like the vibes and the whole spirit of the team just being god awful going into this game. That's Raheem. The offense being not on time and sloppy and just not creative. That's Raheem. And the bad throws, those are Penix. So like they all have their part to play. And you put it all together and you get 30-0. So
you get one sweet sandwich. You got all the ingredients.
Yeah, I think we all generally like him. But I'm surprised the chat room has not mentioned Darnell Mooney once. Like Mooney had about 5 bad miscues today.
Yeah,
he played his part in imploding this offense.
I think it's because Mooney's on like number 10 on the list of things that went wrong today.
And it's also like he missed all of training camp. It's like I know he was trying to come back, but it seems like he was not ready. Like and it's a shame.
I just thought the issues were glaring because there were 2 drops that were uncontested. One of them were on bad. 3rd down.
Yeah.
There was one play. There was a couple of JC Horn just completely punked him. So
yeah.
No, there's no excuse. There's no excuse.
We got RJC. Oh no, he's here to trigger odd non with the $5. Should the Falcons have started playing during the preseason?
That brings me up.
You're just teeing him up.
My next point. I hope you guys have another 20 minutes or so. All right, here we go. Okay. Yeah. The answer is yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes. The short answer, yeah.
Goes back. I'm not actually going to go on this rant. You guys have heard me talk about it a million times at this point. Again, it goes back to the margins. It didn't work last year. Not sitting everyone out of the preseason. It again wasn't going to work this year. But Raheem Morris just hard-headed as ever. Nope, we're not going to do it. And if Raheem Morris is the head coach still next year, which I hope he's not, they're not going to play them in the preseason again next year. And guess what? They're going to get off to another poor start week 1.
Yeah. It's oof. Yeah. If you're looking for any good news, I believe the Saints are losing like 35 or 40-3 or something like that. So,
I'm 35-3 at the moment.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a little better.
It helps a little bit, just a little. But yeah, so things could be worse. But we got Qui-Gon Fishing with the $5 saying, did Zach Robinson ruin Penix? It seems like he's afraid to throw over 5 yards this year when last year he had one of the highest yards per attempt and big time throw percentage. I do think there's like maybe something to talk about where they've like coached the aggressiveness out of him or something, where they're like, no, we don't need to be taking those shots. It's okay. And it's like one of the best things about Penix was like he had the balls to play that way, and like it was working. And also there were some incompletions, but yeah, I mean, I think if that is the case that they coached that out of them to some extent, I think that was a big mistake. Like, I think that's always his best trait, was his willingness to take those shots and his ability to hit those shots. And if they've shattered his confidence or like coached him against that, I think that's a big mistake. So I certainly hope that's not the case. NC Hammer with the 5 says, can we talk about the fact the Panthers were down 2 starting O-linemen and we only had 1 sack all game?
Yes.
The pressure this is my one critique of Ulbrich, is that the Falcons were ultra aggressive with the blitzing, and the Panthers were completely prepared for that. They called their offense almost entirely around the blitz, and I think the Falcons made a mistake and played kind of directly into the Panthers' game plan there. And ultimately, the Falcons got a lot of pressure. They did only get the 1 sack, but it seemed like the game plan for the Panthers was always have a hot read, get the ball out as quick as possible, and we're going to just assume that the Falcons are blitzing every single play and take advantage of it. And like this is the polar opposite of Zach Robinson. Called a great game plan for what the Falcons were going to do. I still think the Falcons defense as a whole was mostly fine, but it's just like, yeah, you would. I think the Falcons needed to play more coverage and take away the easy stuff for Bryce, and because they were absolutely prepared for the Falcons to blitz like that, and the Falcons played right into their hands. So I think that maybe a little too aggressive by Ulbrich, but again, that to me is just in the context of the question, I wanted to say that. But yeah, I think the Panthers fully prepared for the quick game and beating the blitz, and I think the Falcons didn't really adjust to back off a little bit, and because I think if they had played more coverage, I think they could maybe have forced some bad decisions. It's just it feels like they don't trust their four, and I think like maybe that's not justified. Like I think maybe they should trust their top 4 rushers a little bit more, which is weird to say, but I think that there could be something there. So
that's probably gonna be the only interesting to watch in the all 22, because this is gonna be a very hard watch with the all 22. I am interested to see like when it came to like on third downs where they only rushed 4 word players when he didn't seem like it, but you also got to give credit to Bryce Young. I felt like anytime he escaped the pocket, he was able to get what he wanted. So maybe the Falcons just didn't rush with much integrity, or they underestimated Bryce Young's athleticism.
Yeah. All right, we got a couple more here, guys. We got George Costanza with the $2 saying, "Can we trade with the Rams for Sequavius Bennett?" George, no, we can't. They're already getting a top 10 pick from us. That would invigorate the fan base. Oh man, George, love it. We got Machine Learning Brilliance with the $5. Says, "At least looks like the Saints are asking us to hold their beer to lose by a worse margin today. They currently are losing by a worse margin, so we'll see if that holds up." So maybe we can hide. We can try to hide in the corner behind the other teams that blew it today. There were actually quite a lot of teams blowing it today, so this isn't going to be like the Falcons get all of it, but we're going to get a lot of it. So steel yourself if you're going to watch any of those national things. We got Devonte Merritt, excuse me, with the $5 saying, "Can we talk about the lack of mobility from Penix? It's concerning that he doesn't move." I actually think Penix's mobility is fine. I agree today the pocket navigation was not there, but we saw him I think effectively navigate the pocket in week 1. We saw some more running. Like today it was just the whole thing was off. It looked like they were confused and sloppy and completely out of sync. I think Penix actually has looked a little better on the move than I was expecting, because that was always one of his bigger things, was like, this is a guy that just wants to sit in the pocket if he can. So this was a step back in that regard, but I don't think I have huge concerns long term about lack of mobility. I think it's not like a lack of mobility; it's that
unwillingness, I would
use
say.
It. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He just looked way too stacked in there, even when the pocket started to collapse, because the offensive line held up in pass protection. But it's just it was very robotic, and at some point, it's just like if you're not finding openings on your first or second reads, it's like you got to create something. So I think creating a structure is something that he could work.
Yeah, I agree. We got Machine Learning Brilliance again with the $2. Thank you, man. Says, "Did Penix get hurt in week 1 and they were hiding it?" No, I don't think Penix is hurt.
You can't use that excuse every year, guys. Come on.
No, I don't think that would be weird if it happened twice. Yeah, I don't think he's hurt. Yeah,
if he held up against the Vikings, I think he was healthy, because that Vikings defense was coming after him.
Yeah. We got Master Roshi. Shout out to the
that's the name
reference.
Yeah,
name of the day. DPZ reference. The $5. What's with the pistol and no play action and the delay of game out of the timeout? The delay of game out of the timeout is embarrassing.
It's infuriating. Yeah. It's infuriating. It's like that's a high school team knows not to do that.
Yeah, and again, I don't really think the pistol is the problem. I think their over reliance on it is kind of weird. And I don't think. I think you need to be able to play under center sometimes. Honestly. And I think if you're designing an offense with absolutely no under center, you're doing a disservice to your quarterback. Sooner or later, Mike Penix needs to learn how to play from under center. I know he didn't do it a lot in college. He has to be able to play from under center. Like, I think it's just such a necessary formation because you need to be able to QB sneak. You need to be able to do all these things. And like, I think under center is the best for play action too. And like, there was play action today. So to say no play action would not exactly be correct. They just weren't hitting anything. So again, it's like, I think it's a compounding thing. Like, we touched on a lot of the reasons why it didn't work because look, play action, you have to turn your back to the defense. It takes longer to process. And if you're already getting the call late and the quarterback didn't have time pre-snap to survey the defense, it's just gonna compound that issue. So maybe that's why they're not calling much play action, is because they're getting the call in late and like, they don't want to compound the issue anymore. But sooner or later, you're gonna have to figure that out. And I blame the coaching staff for that as much as anything.
They got 2 home games coming up, so
yeah, we got to be able to figure that out. And I think George, coincidentally enough, right as we were talking about it, came with the same thing with the $2. Thanks, George. When it's 3rd down and 1, how hard is it to line up in QB sneak? But no, we have to take a timeout and then have a delay of game penalty coming out of the timeout. Just line up, sneak it, and get the first. I agree. Like, I don't know why this team is so terrified to QB sneak. Penix can do it. Like, he actually, I think, knows how to run pretty well. Like, not that you should we're not talking about tush push, but like, yeah, like, it should be in your arsenal. Like, I don't know, teams that just refuse to QB sneak just blow my mind. Like, it's like, why would you turn down one of the highest percentage plays on like 3rd and inches? Just like, I get that it's not always going to work, but like, your short yardage strategy right now is not working either. Why don't you just go back to what most teams do? It's just a bizarre one. But guys, I think we've covered about as much as we can cover today. I appreciate everybody hanging out here, and we're trying to do our best to keep hope alive. And again, I think we're still a long way away from figuring it out, but I think we should all be very concerned about what we saw, especially about this offense. And I think we should adjust our expectations accordingly to now. We have to see this offense take a major step forward, or this team is going to be stuck in the mud. That just, like, the defense is good enough that they can grind out games if they can get the run game going, but you can't depend on that. The NFL is too good. Too many other good defenses out there. Too many good offenses that are going to be able to put up points. Even on, I would say, like, the Falcons defense is like a fringe top 10 defense right now. But like, there's, against those elite offenses, you're not going to be able to hold them down. Even good defenses can't. So sooner or later, you're going to have to score points to win. And I just can't believe we're having this conversation again. It just pisses me off so much. But let's touch real quick. Thanks again to FanDuel presenting the show today. We got odds of the day here. Atlanta Falcons now plus 146 to make the playoffs. The number continues to go down. So don't love that. But we'll hope that they can bounce back next week against the Commanders and right the ship. I know Bijan's just such a professional. Bijan came out, gave like a 2-paragraph answer when someone asked about, what went wrong. And he's like, look, we played terribly. Like, this is the type of game that defines you. Your season either ends today and this crushes you, or this is the turning point. And we need this to be the turning point. Like, this has to be the turning point. We can't be doing this. We're not playing the type of football that we want to play. So, I agree with Bijan wholeheartedly. Like, make this the turning point, or bye-bye. Like, bye-bye, coaching staff. Bye-bye, Terry Fontenot. So that's where we're at. Turning point in week 4. You hate to see it. But, guys, I want to thank, of course, Allen Strk for coming on today, at Allen Strk. Allen, appreciate you powering through this difficult one with us. Anything else that you're working on you want to let the people know about?
Oh, man. We're going to watch the film, and we'll take it from there. I sound like a coach, right? This is just This
might be a burn the film type of game. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see a few things. But once I see Kirk Cousins enter the field, that's when the film goes off. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll figure out some content ideas. We'll make it through a week, and then get ready. Dan Quinn back in Atlanta. I'm a Dan Quinn guy, so I'm excited to see him back.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be. Love Dan Quinn. Love Dan Quinn no matter what. So happy to see that he's having some success. Also, Adnan Nikic joined us today. Adnan, I appreciate you making the time. Anything else that you want to let the people know about?
Yeah, we're stick with the Falcoholic. We'll weather the storm. We got some articles coming out, live shows, all of that. Look, this isn't the first year where the team has sucked, and we just keep powering through. In fact, that's literally been my entire life at the Falcoholic, my entire tenure at the Falcoholic. So, we're very, if this does signal like the end for the season, which it's only week 3, it's not going to be the end. Well, then again, I don't know. I remember a few years ago, Eric Robinson calling draft takes after week 2, after that onside kick fiasco against the Cowboys, and he was actually correct back then. So, but no matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets, we're at least very, very experienced in dealing with the team sucking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. We're used to this team disappointing us on a weekly basis. There's no doubt about that.
But the Saints are down 38-3, and they're bringing out Blake Rupe at the 2-yard line.
They're gonna kick
5-yard line. They're kicking the ball at the 5-yard line down.
They're determined to not be shit. Like they need to get that margin down.
What are we?
So they can say that we didn't lose as bad as the Falcons this week. That's the only thing they care about. So.
I get it. It's like you have one more play left before the half, but you're down by 35. Like, why are we kicking a? No, okay.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Bad team stay bad.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Please like and subscribe. I'm Kevin Knight at Falcoholic Kevin. Thanks again to FanDuel for presenting today's Falcoholic Live. We will be back for Tuesday takes next week with Trayshawn as we try to make sense of this absolute debacle. And then join us on Wednesday for another great episode with Adon and I. And then, we'll be back for this Commanders game, which hopefully could be a bounce back opportunity for this team against a very good NFC South opponent. We'll see if Jaden Daniels plays, but it's going to be a tough one. So, guys, thank you so much. We will see you real soon here on the Falcoholic Live and Dirty Birds and Brews. Enjoy the rest of your football Sunday. Don't let this team ruin your day or your week. It's just not worth it. It is just football. Obviously, we all care a lot about it. But when it crosses into like ruining your day, that's when we just all have to take a step back and just try to bury this team down somewhere where it can't hurt us. And until next week, yeah. So thanks guys so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. Have a great night, folks.